How safe is Gibraltar today?
Well, Gibraltar continues to be safe. There is no direct specific threat to Gibraltar, but we're not immune, as I've mentioned this on many occasions. In light of what's happened in London, we've got to look at ourselves continuously and improve on our security. The GCC met, as you know, this week on two occasions, and we have discussed, measures that we can take to make sure that what happened in London does not happen in Gibraltar. It's difficult to say it won't happen in Gibraltar, but we've got to take all the measures that we think are necessary to deter and to prevent that from happening in Gibraltar.
And what does having a heightened police response level mean? Does it mean having more officers on the beat for the time being?
Well, until we get further clarity of the investigation in London, in the UK, as you know, only this morning they've announced that further arrests have been made. So until we get further clarity, we've got to make sure that our response is adequate for our people here in Gibraltar. And what has happened is I've decided that we need more boots on the ground. I've asked for another armed response vehicle to be out and about. We have one sort of who's looking at our national infrastructure, another vehicle who's looking after our key establishments like the convent, number 6, and another vehicle who's roaming, just being around where people are congregating at particular times. Casemates, Ocean Village, sort of popular areas, so that we've got sort of officers ready to respond in the event that something should occur.
How satisfied are you with the balance of, on the one hand, potentially counter-terrorism surveillance measures and also having those armed response police that you've been mentioning, and on the other hand, individual liberties? How satisfied are you with the current balance?
Well, I think we've got the right balance. It's always difficult to impose sort of not restrictions, but to have armed officers out and about, and to allow people to enjoy life and to go around the business, and not sort of we don't want to do anything that would sort of curtails anything from members of the public enjoying life, or making them sort of scared or apprehensive of their surroundings. So we are there. I think we're striking the right balance. Our officers, although visible, try to keep out of the way of sort of nearby sort of people. So I think at the moment we're striking the right balance. For example, tonight, popular night for our youth to be out and about. So on our new shift pattern sort of doubles up on a Friday night. So again, tonight there'll be a fourth armed response vehicle out and about, only because by coincidence Friday night is a night that we double up resources. So for the next few days you will see an increase in police presence out in the streets. Tomorrow I believe there is a fun day in Casement, so we'll be sort of nearby that fun day and just ensuring that people enjoy sort of their daily lives, really.
Now, sadly, cars and trucks have killed about 100 people in Nice, Berlin, and most recently, of course, London in the past 12 months. With that in mind, with that trend in mind, are you satisfied with the security on Main Street?
No, I'm not. For now a few months, together with the Ministry of Transport, because the Minister for Transport shares my concern. In fact, we both had a site meeting in Main Street not so long ago, and we held meetings with the Chamber of Commerce. And again, this is about striking a balance, allowing trade to continue because it's sort of one of our pillars, of our economy, but also sort of having that security in mind. So together now, and this is captured by the GCC. Together with the Ministry of Transport, we're looking at prevention measures. We're working with the Chamber of Commerce, to try and look at delivery times. I'm not happy with Main Street heaving with people, especially when we have cruise liners coming in, and we've got loads of delivery vans, lorries coming in and out of Main Street. I think that's dangerous for For the public, I think it's dangerous for mothers with buggies, prams, with disability, wheelchairs. It's dangerous, and I think we've got to look at ways and means of preventing and curtailing that. So we're looking at the list of vehicles that have got permission to go into Main Street. We're looking at delivery times. We're looking at possible mitigation road measures, like sort of raising bollards, that vehicles will have transponders to come into Main Street. But we're also distributing flyers this week, and I think I've given you copies of that, to lorry drivers, to the retail trade, so that to educate them, because I've seen some of them jump out of the lorry to deliver something, and they've left the keys in the ignition. I've personally taken the keys away just to make a point. So, notwithstanding all the prevention measures that we might take in preventing vehicles to coming into Main Street, once the vehicle is in the pedestrian stage, somebody can, go into the vehicle and take off, because they've left the keys in the ignition. So it's all about education as well. So there's a whole range of measures that we're looking at, but just to reassure the public that we are looking at all those things, and essentially is for their safety, so that we continue to, to have a Gibraltar which is safe.
What about public events which see sometimes hundreds and even thousands of people congregating together in a relatively small space? Is the police going to approach these differently going forward?
Yes, I've recommended an event planning committee, sort of under the auspices of the GCC. This committee should look at all events, small and large, and then together with us, risk assess that event. And if there is a need, we'll step up the security for that particular event. And I think each event should be looked at individually in its own merits, and then sort of police it accordingly.
How important is international intelligence and information sharing with other police and security organisations, and how much of that work is the RGP currently doing?
Well, I think I've mentioned it in previous interviews. 4 or 5 years ago, we embarked on sort of enhancing our network, in the CT world, and I'm pleased today that we are at the centre of the intelligence network in the UK. Everything is shared, what's happening here, what's happening in the UK. So we are at the centre of that. I attend the Chiefs Council meetings in the UK, which is chaired by Mark Rowley, who's the Assistant Commissioner who's been coming out, sort of giving the updates. He chairs that forum. So I'm pleased that we are at the centre of that network. But additionally, we also improved our network with our security services in Spain. We are now doing the same thing in Morocco. Only this evening, Superintendent McGrail and Inspector Cipollina are returning from the World Border Security Conference in Casablanca. Again, trying to enhance on the communication network that we already have with Morocco. Similarly, last week I was with the governor in Rabat, having meetings at the embassy in Rabat. Again, looking at how we exchange information, how we work. So, it's not something that we can sit on our laurels and say, everything's done and we'll wait to see if something happens. We are proactive in that respect, and we must be. It's ever evolving, whereby a year ago we were looking at sort of a marauding terrorist firearms attack. Now it's a marauding terrorist attack. The firearms is not involved. They're using anything and everything as a weapon. In this particular case, in the last 2 occasions, it's been vehicles, a lorry in Germany, and now 4x4 in London. So we've got to be ready. It's always evolving, and we've got to be ready to respond to any of that.
Finally, Commissioner, what is your message to the public, and how can they help?
Well, basically, the public are eyes and ears out there, and what I would ask the public is not to take our armed officers and police officers going around as the norm. This is not the norm. We're living in a climate which is not normal, and we're asking our people to be vigilant. The public to be vigilant, to look at things which are out of place, and to report anything and everything that they see to us. What might be insignificant to them might fit into a bigger jigsaw puzzle when they tell us. So anything and everything will be dealt with in the strictest of confidence, but they should call us, if they see or they think something is not quite right.